We know some of you had to brave some traffic to get here, and delighted you're here. And we may see others kind of come in as they make their way through the traffic as well. This is 1 Million Cups Oklahoma City. This is our third event in Oklahoma City, so we're excited to have people here. We'd hope that you'll help spread the word to others too, so that entrepreneurs and people that support that community know about us. My name is Governor Hood. I'm one of the organizers. Zach Starr here is one of our newest organizers as well. And Ron, where are you? Ron Harris up there, also one of the organizers here this morning. Feel free to reach out to any of us afterwards if you have questions about 1 Million Cups, how to become a presenter or apply to become a presenter, or if you want to be involved and help organize things in the future as well. Happy to talk to you about that. Did I do that? No. I was just doing that on myself. Okay. So we've got some events coming up that we also want to make people aware of. Excuse me, the Breaking Through event is coming up. Do you know more about that?
Yeah, that's OKC Entrepreneur Group with Ron Harris. So everybody's out there. It's August 27th?
Yes, August 27th, 7 p.m., 3 to 10, nothing, no charge, nothing. Maddie's going to be talking. He's an actual professor at a different university, and he is a paraplegic, and he's going to talk about breaking through and overcoming obstacles, so it's going to be real fantastic to hear him speaking. And I misspelling their obstacles, so.
That's over at Dunlap Cotting, out on Film Row. What is it, 600 Sheridan? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Terrific. We meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m., regardless of what city 1 Million Cups is in. It's 9 a.m. Across the board. So if you happen to be in another city, you can find out all the cities at 1millioncups.com, and it's one with the number one. And you can search. I think we're in 75 cities around the country right now, and this is one of the newest ones that we've offered. Our partners in Tulsa, who were gracious enough to help get us off the ground, along with support from the chamber. Obviously, Rose State, we want to thank for giving us access to this wonderful facility, the coffee, and other things. And we've got several other sponsors on our website, including I2E. So we feel that our goal is really to become very, inclusive of the entire entrepreneurship and startup community. We know that there's a lot of others out there. Our goal is not to replace, but to augment. And the purpose of 1 Million Cups is really about education. And so we hope that when you come here, you'll get educated by the presenters. They get an opportunity to become educated by you as a community, because your opportunity is to participate and offer the presenters feedback and ask questions. And we offer feedback in kind of a lovingly helpful way, so that it helps them think about things from a different perspective about going to market, getting funding, things like that. And so again, we hope that you'll take that into consideration as you see their presentations. Each presenter is given 6 minutes to make their presentation, and then after that we have about 20 minutes worth of question and answer and feedback opportunities. So first up this morning, as we're getting the presentation ready to go, is Steve Montgomery with Digital 6 Laboratories. He is in the hardware business, and he'll tell you about what that is, but he's got some very interesting innovations in terms of how he can take wireless technology to a new level. Up next after him is What Else App with Ricky. Ricky, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
Vic.
Ricky Vic.
Yeah, it's really easy to remember.
And Ricky has got an application about using video for reviews. So we're excited to have both of them here, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Before we get started, are there any questions we can help answer? Yeah, Paul.
You might explain the passport procedure that both of these guys are working off of.
Okay. So, great question, the passport. Once you have applied and been approved to present at any one of the locations that 1 Million Cups is in, you are then considered a passport presenter, which gives you access to present in any one of the other communities. You would just need to be able to reach out to the organizers in that community and ask for a date to be able to present. And the great news is that everybody's constantly looking for ways to get new ideas shared within their community. And especially if you have an idea that's more than just locally based, but has broad appeal, it's a great way to get additional feedback from different markets and also create awareness in other markets. So that is an opportunity. Thanks, Paul. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I think we are finally.
Did you want the lav or do you want the handheld?
I'll take the handheld, I think.
Well, good. Again, this is Steve Montgomery with Digital 6 Labs. So let's give him a welcome.
Okay, let me make sure my forward and back buttons work. I've had trouble with this before. So as he said, my name is Steve Montgomery. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Digital 6 Laboratories. And we are a startup. And I'm here today to talk to you about a technology that we have developed called Whisker.io. Now, Digital 6 Labs, our business, is connecting things to the internet. And when I say we connect things to the internet, we connect anything and everything to the internet. From something as mundane as a hand soap dispenser at an airport in New York, to something as complex and cool as maybe an oil and gas well out in the boonies in West Texas. And the way we connect these things to the internet is we use wireless technologies. Some of these technologies are things that you guys would be familiar with, things like cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. And for a lot of applications, these wireless technologies are great. They work really good. But for a growing number of emerging applications for connecting things to the internet, these technologies don't work very well. And the reason is pretty simple. If you want to connect things to the internet, you need a wireless technology that's long range, has long battery life, and low cost. Cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth fall short on combinations of these three. And the reason is pretty simple. These technologies were created for connecting us to the internet, not things. They were created for connecting people. So if you're on your phone, and I'll give you an example why. If you're on your phone and you're talking and you have a weak signal, you can move to where the signal is stronger so you can have your conversation. You can't ask a hand soap dispenser stuck to the wall in the bathroom to move where the signal is stronger. The signal has to be strong enough to reach it where it is. By the same token, you don't mind recharging your batteries every night for a cell phone and maybe a couple of other gadgets. But can you imagine changing batteries or recharging batteries in 350 hand soap dispensers every couple of days? That technology wouldn't be used. It would be completely unusable. And so we have actually developed a technology called Whisker.io that was specifically designed for connecting things to the internet. Whisker.io is a battery-powered wireless technology, and it has a lot of really cool features. But there are two that are important to understand right at the beginning. First, it can communicate for 4 miles. Second, it can operate for 5 years off 2 AA batteries you can buy at Walmart. And to give you an idea of the scale of improvement this provides over a technology like Wi-Fi, for example, this is a map of downtown Yukon. And this little star here is where our office is. Now, the size of the star was actually selected on purpose because it represents, to the scale of the map, about the maximum range you would see out of Wi-Fi. This entire map is the range that you would get out of Whisker.io. So if the city of Yukon wanted to connect their things to the internet, for example, their trash cans, light poles, trucks, water meters, electric meters, if they wanted to build a network of sensors that monitored air quality so they could do real-time pollution monitoring, they could stick one of our gateways, which connects our devices to the internet, in the middle. That device costs less than $1,000, and they could put devices all over the city that they could just leave there. They would operate forever. They're fire and forget. There's no expensive infrastructure to install, and there's no maintenance of the system. And so this becomes a compelling technology for people that are trying to connect things to the internet. And rather than, since I've got a limited amount of time, rather than throw a bunch of technical information at you, trying to explain how the system works, I thought we could maybe look at it in the context of an example. You've heard me mention a couple of times this idea of connecting hand soap dispensers. And you may have thought, why in the world would someone want to connect a hand soap dispenser to the internet? That's what I thought when they brought the project to me. This project came through a partner from Amazon. Amazon Web Services and Sealed Air, which Sealed Air is the company that invented bubble wrap. They are working together with one of their janitorial services companies to try and use software, to use technology to automate the process of scheduling bathroom cleaning. In an airport, this is a real problem because there's no way to predict the usage of a bathroom minute to minute or day to day. So they're always having to run 200 or 300% more resources to clean the bathrooms than they should have to use. So Amazon and Sealed Air thought, you know, if we could connect the hand soap dispenser to the internet and we could count how many times it was pumped, it becomes a big data problem, which Amazon is really good at, and we can predict how the bathrooms are being used. They actually built a few of these up using Wi-Fi technology. They had to get the demo to work, they had to install repeaters so that the Wi-Fi would reach the bathroom, and the batteries had to be replaced frequently. But they got it to work, and they were able to demonstrate that by connecting the hand soap dispenser, they could have a third of the cleaning crews do the same amount of work. And the bathrooms got cleaned at a schedule that made the customers a lot happier, but they had a problem. This wouldn't scale. There's no way that you're going to have Wi-Fi access in every bathroom in an airport. And there's also no way that the service company was going to change the batteries every couple of days, like I said before. So they came to us for a partner and asked us if we could solve the problem. We put one of our devices, this is a Whisker IO engine, we put one of these in each of the hand soap dispensers, connected it through our gateway. We can cover an entire airport by installing one gateway, and they're able to have those hand soap dispensers operate on the wall for 5 years, which is basically the lifespan. So they're able to just put them on there, they're fire and forget, and they work for the lifetime of the hand soap dispenser. And Amazon is so excited about how we were able to help them solve this problem, they're actually putting 100 of these in the venue for their Amazon Web Services Developers Conference in October. And what's even better for us is that Jeff Bezos is actually going to talk about our company and this technology from his keynote address from the stage when they have that conference. And, you know, for us, that's like an author getting his book talked about on Oprah. That's a really big deal. So where am I at on time? Usually I'm pretty close. I've still got a minute, but this is usually how far I get in 6 minutes. So I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and open the questions up early. I brought.
What does the dashboard look like?
Well, I have slides. We can get through all that stuff. I have more slides, and I also brought some show and tell pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. Hopefully, I've given you guys enough information to pique your interest, and let's hear some questions. Either that, or I give too much information. Everybody knows everything.
So what are you? I'm assuming that this is low baud rate data that's going to be passing through these. What's your limit as far as how much data can pass? I'm very familiar with like ANT Plus protocol, Bluetooth, and then Wi-Fi, and how that, you know, how those products distinguish what they can pass through them. What would be another use case besides these dispensers? Is it just information about how the usage of it is, or could it pass larger amounts of data?
Well, it's a good question. So connecting people to the internet requires a lot of data because we want video, we want audio. Things don't really care about that. They report little bits of information. This is how many times somebody's pushed a button. This is the temperature. This is the relative humidity. And normally those values are collected at rates measured in minutes, not milliseconds. So even though we're real time, it's relatively slow. So you're right, the data rate is low. And that's one of the ways that we're able to get the range. We're actually using a new wireless technology that just came out last year. It's called LoRa, from a company called Simtech. They're a California company, a semiconductor company, and they, they're really sharp engineers. I liken the technology to how a hearing aid works. If you are in a room and everything, the person you're trying to hear isn't talking loud enough, then you can't understand what they're saying. What this technology does is the same thing that a hearing aid does. It reduces the background noise down, and it amplifies the signal that you want to receive, so that it actually is able to receive signals that are 6 or 7 orders of magnitude lower than a typical technology like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but you do give up baud rate. However, there are a ton of applications. We're doing this in, so to give you an idea, oil and gas well monitoring. We could put a gateway up at an injection well, and we can reach out to 5 or 10 or 20 oil wells in a 4-mile radius, and we can read downhole information, we can read pump run indication, tank levels, temperatures, pressures, pretty much give an operator, a geologist, an engineer, all of the information and insight into that piece of their enterprise that they need to know to operate it. Fluid and gas tank monitoring. We've got a project going in Boston for monitoring fuel oil tanks to tell them when they need to be refilled. Leak detection. Stairs makes sterilization equipment for hospitals. And they're notorious for having these big tanks leak. As a matter of fact, Baptist had $1 million incident last year where they had water leak and it caused a lot of damage. And so with our devices, you can actually put them in and they can do leak detection. Agriculture is a really exciting, this is a really exciting application for us. Go ahead.
Second question real quick, is that would you say your product is more of a communication protocol, or would it be like a, when I see this, I think of like the iBeacons, how they use like a major and a minor and a unique identifier to identify a device. Could you do that with this particular product? Could you say this is a napkin and this is napkin number 1, whereas this is napkin number 2, and these communicate in a 5-mile radius?
Yeah, they communicate back to a gateway, but you're absolutely right. Everything has one of these in it. This is like I said, this Whisker Isle engine. These guys have a unique serial number built into them that's set at the factory that makes them globally unique anywhere in the world, and so they can be addressed through the gateway by this. So that's how that works.
You mentioned that the area of coverage that you talked about can be covered with a device that costs less than $1,000, I think it was, you said?
Yeah.
So then that's the gateway you're referring to.
Yeah,
So what sort of cost is associated with each of the engines that you put in each device? Is that minute, or is it?
No, it has to be. It has to be low. So, and actually, I didn't fully answer your question, so I'll answer both of them together. We haven't just developed the wireless technology. We've actually, one of the reasons that it took us so long to get out of startup mode and get our product out is that we did we've developed a full solution. So in addition to having the modules that OEMs can integrate into their products, we also have developed around those modules IP68 certified outdoor wireless sensors. These are battery-powered sensors that can interface to equipment. They can also have certain internal environmental sensors in them. We have indoor sensors as well. These can do temperature, relative humidity, light, pressure, three axis of motion. They have external connections. We're shipping 100 of these next week to Georgia. They are using them to connect to water meters in an apartment complex so that they can do sub-billing in the apartment complex. And in that one, we actually are controlling a valve for them as well. We have an indoor gateway. This is our commercial gateway that goes indoors. So this would be what's used in like the airport scenario. And these are sub $300 with cellular connectivity. And then we have our outdoor gateway, which is IP68 certified, which means that it's basically ready for operation out in the weather. These are designed to be pole mounted. These can handle up to 2,000 devices per gateway. And this is the one that's sub $1,000. Now, I think I missed part of your question. What was the rest of it?
What sort of cost is associated with the
cost,
actual engines for each device?
So the way that we bring this to market, we can either work with OEMs and we sell this product outright. These modules in quantity are less than $15. So for example, in the hand soap dispenser application, we were able to deliver them a solution under $20. We actually competed, one of the things I forgot to mention, is we competed against Qualcomm for this business. Qualcomm is a huge, they invented CDMA, and pretty much Verizon and all those guys use Qualcomm technology. They were the ones that had the Wi-Fi version of this, and we pushed them out because we were lower cost and we gave them a lot better battery performance and range performance. Now the solutions, if we go into agriculture, for example, and there's a fish farm that wants to have automatic control of their pumps, their aeration pumps, to put oxygen into the water. We have a sensor that goes down into the water that measures the oxygen. We have sensors that monitor UV and several of the weather-related parameters that help them predict when they're going to have oxygen levels problems in the pond. And we put all that stuff up on the internet. We have our own. Let me find. Yeah, so, whoops. This is we've developed our own online dashboard. We also have a mobile app and a desktop app. This allows our customers to view their devices in real time. They can look at the current readings. They can know if they have any readings that are out of bounds. The system is able to send text message alerts if something is going wrong. It has graphs and a reporter generator. And so it's a complete solution. And what we do for guys like agriculture is we sell this as a solution as a service. So basically, instead of having them pay an upfront fixed cost, we just charge a monthly fee, and that includes the hardware, the warranty, the software, and all of the support. So did that answer your question? Anyone else? Oh, you guys are easy.
Steve, you mentioned, the attention that you're getting from Amazon, and, one of the challenges that most entrepreneurs have is, how do you develop interest in buyers and organizations like that? Can you share a little bit about how that came about?
Work hard. I mean, it really is the truth. The life of an entrepreneur is working when there's no hope, or when there seems to be no hope. In this particular case, we buy, one of the chips we buy is from a company called Renesas. There was a guy there that invited us to speak in Texas. I took the time to go down and do it, just like I'm speaking here today. Jean-Luca with Renesas really liked this. He introduced us to a company called ThingLogix. ThingLogix had broken off from a company called Telemetry that had just sold to Amazon. And Amazon is actually relaunching the Telemetry platform, which was designed for Internet of Things stuff at this Amazon web event. And that's how that all happened. It's like anything else in life. It's relationships, and and this is one of the hardest things for engineers. When we, whether you're a hardware or software engineer, it's so much easier to sit in your office and close yourself off and surround yourself by the things you design. But if you don't get out and form the relationships with people and share what you're doing, then you don't have a chance of exposing yourself to, not exposing yourself, but exposing the things that you're doing. Don't expose yourself. That's a good way to lose business. But exposing the things that you're doing to people. That's why a lot of times you'll find entrepreneurs, they have an engineering guy will have a good business guy that does all of the business development stuff. And actually, Paul Conradi has helped with he's helped us in a lot of cases. He's brought 2 of the agriculture opportunities to us as well. So
networking and connections.
What is it that you're looking for?
Here?
Yeah.
So this is my second presentation at A Million Cups. I did one in Tulsa. This technology is, we call it a horizontal technology. A lot of times, and this is usually the best advice for a startup, is you pick one thing, pick one niche, one vertical, and you go after it with everything, and you build it, and then you take the next one. In this particular case, we developed a vertical product that has a lot of horizontal, we developed a horizontal product that has a lot of vertical applications. So one of the things, we got some good product ideas, application ideas out of the guys in Tulsa. Obviously, we're going to be looking for rounds of funding sometime soon, and so we're interested in that. We're interested in making connections that could lead to new business, and if I would love the opportunity to share if there was someone that was starting a business and having struggles, I would love the opportunity to share some of the ideas that are things that we went through to get where we're at.
Thank you. What are the challenges in your sales process with, say, a municipality or something? You mentioned, you gave the Yukon example. Do you have any municipal customers or governmental customers yet? Los
Angeles is the first customer we're working with, and they came to us, and it's going to be a long process. Basically, the way that's going to work, I call them their pollution police. They actually have a division in California of their government they have regions, and they're responsible for the air quality. And right now they're using $60,000 EPA certified sensors to do the air quality, but they're only able to put 1 or 2 of them up per region. And what they're wanting to do is have a network of 10,000 of these things that will give them real-time, granular access to that data. So the way that process is working is we send them some devices, they're doing certification, Once that certification happens, they'll put out an RFP. Fortunately, since we send our devices in, usually the key to getting business from those guys is making sure that your product is the one that they spec out. Yeah, but there's a lot of challenges in this space. The Internet of Things is something that has gotten a lot of attention in the media. If you pay attention to the venture capital world or even the electronic space. Most of it is just home automation or wearables that have been relabeled as Internet of Things. So we've had home automation systems that will turn on your lights at your garage door forever. Same thing with watches you can wear that connect to your computer, and they're calling that Internet of Things. But there's a market survey that says that by 2025 there will be 15 billion things connected to the Internet. And by then, the data, more than 50% of the data on the Internet will have been generated by things instead of people. Today, something like 99% of the data on the Internet was actually put in by a person, and that's changing. Well, anytime you have that kind of a paradigm shift in the way things are operating, the sales cycle is kind of tough. We've got customers right now, a lot of customers. Banner Engineering is a good example. They do industrial automation, and they sell their products into waterworks and all kinds of places. Sealed Air is another great example. All these big companies are trying to figure out, just like in the late 90s, they were trying to figure out their e-commerce play. Well, today they're figuring out their IoT play. And so it makes it tough. One of the things that was really important, and I knew our sales cycles were going to be long, so this company was set up to run lean and mean. We have a very, very low overhead, so we can afford those long sales cycles, and we can live off of the pieces that come in.
Go ahead. Are you looking to be a bundled product that people wouldn't know it's Whiskers.io, or do you want it to be? I mean, ideally, you might want it
both.
To be.
Both. Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a company in Houston called Meshify, and they have a really cool version of this, specifically designed for oil and gas wells.
Yes, ma'am.
They developed their own little box that they put at the oil and gas wells, but their investors are wanting them to get out of the hardware business, and they don't have. They can only connect up to the things at the oil well that are already wired. They need to be able to reach out and grab tanks and pressures and stuff that aren't wired. And so we're working with them. In that case, what we will do is our product will ship with their label. And we have three kinds of partnerships. And a lot of our business is going to be developed through partnerships. Resellers, which basically sell our labeled product. We have OEMs that integrate our product into their product. And then we have the developer partners, like these guys down in Houston, and that's set up where we can white label our product and sell it under their name, integrate it with their. One of the cool things about the way our gateway is designed, this actually has a Linux computer in it, and I can, with just changing some configuration parameters, I can take any piece of sensor data and point it at any web service out there. So we can put the data in a company's enterprise resource planning or accounting system. We can push it into an existing application, whatever.
I just recently got back from the Black Hat and DEF CON conferences, the security conferences in Vegas, and there was a lot of talk about Internet of Things and destruction of SCADA networks and things like that. What type of information security challenges do you see in this platform, and how have you mitigated that?
Well, security is the key to security is making it more. Nothing is ever foolproof. So the key to security is making it hard enough to crack where the expense you would incur cracking it is more than the value of the data that you get. For most applications, like the hand soap dispenser application, if they corrupted our network, there's nothing they could gain from it that would do them any good. Now, our solution is unique, and I'm glad you asked the question because this is a key point. Pretty much every company in the Internet of Things space is going after a centralized cloud-based operating system. And so every piece of sensor data goes up to the cloud, and the gateways are nothing more than just a transparent pipe. And then if decisions have to be made, that goes up to the cloud, it makes the decision and pushes the decision back down. Our gateways actually operate standalone. We use a protocol called MQTT that allows us to communicate through firewalls and through all of the things that would normally make setup and configuration hard with our application. So you can use our mobile and our desktop app talking directly to our gateway without having to have a cloud server in the middle. That means that if you want to crack 1,000 sites, you have to crack 1,000 gateways. The gateways are all in the data between the gateways and the clients are all encrypted with AES 256, and the customer has the ability to set the keys on that. So as long as they protect their key, they're pretty safe. Now that's not to say that we can't work with a cloud provider, because we have to in some applications. But that's actually, we're filing a provisional patent on that cloudless architecture because it is unique.
The reason why I asked that is because obviously Oklahoma City has like the largest Tropos network municipality in the nation right now, and that's a very important network for our government and police and all that kind of stuff. If you were to get into this space, that would probably be very important.
Well, and something else that's important. We ship our gateway ship with cellular. We will, like in the Hansel dispenser application where we have specific customers, we'll ship a Wi-Fi or an Ethernet version. But in general, they ship with cellular because we operate outside of whatever connection the customer has. And that's important. Like in a hospital, if we're doing leak detection, the IT department in a hospital is not going to want our device on their network. So we actually operate out of band with those guys, and that gives us another level of protection and another level of security for our customer, because we're not compromising, we're not creating a potential security loophole in their network by adding our things to their system. And that goes to one of your earlier questions about, how hard the sales cycle is. Talking to people about security is a big deal, and the federal trade people are making a huge fuss about security in IoT right now.
All right.
Are we done?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I think I took more time.
So one thing is our community. What can we do to kind of help you out?
Well, somebody already asked me that question, but they stole your thunder. But that's it. I mean, obviously we want to get the word out, application ideas, potential leads, leads on investment, and then just opportunities to network and kind of share the burden of trying to get startups off the ground. It can be a lonely world when you think you're doing it by yourself. So,
let's give another round of applause. All right, well, Ricky's coming up here to get set up. We wanted to do something at the beginning that we didn't get to do. So, whose first time is it here at 1 Million Cups? All right. Right here. This gentleman, this fine gentleman right here, with his hand up. All right, whose second time is it that brought somebody with them? All right, it's Mr. Foreman. Try to, if you come back, try to bring somebody with you. You never know who might need that extra little nudge, might get inspired by one of our speakers to kind of jump into that entrepreneurship.
Hold on, I'm bringing more. You think got it right.
Is that, you might mention where they go if they want to present? Do you know anybody who wants to present?
And, Steve, if you know anybody, or Ricky, if you guys know anybody that you'd like to see up here, any other entrepreneurs, go to 1 Million Cups, or ask them to go to 1millioncups.com/OKC. There's a little button, you just click apply to present. So we're trying to get a bunch more entrepreneurs lined up. So you don't have to worry about it too much.
You guys already got my little poll, so yeah, that would be my best recommendation.
You can also check it out on YouTube, right? YouTube. I think we have a YouTube channel, so you can check it out there, all the videos.
Can I make a suggestion? Then Terry, I was the lead off here, and I said, man, you can't see the screen, dim the lights. And you can't see the presenter. So we need to find a happy medium long term, because whoever's doing the presenting is dark. You really can't even make it.
So I light at the podium, is that better?
Well, I did a presentation all over the country that was dark, and we used a spot. And it wouldn't have to be much light, but we just need one light wherever that's.
This is developing our phone line.
But anyway, put the YouTube.
Hello.
Color. It's got the color.
I know this is an equipment issue, but these are dim as well. Cameras, the projector itself is dim, even with dark lighting. It should be brighter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Take a look.
The projectors will automatically adjust? you're saying?
No, projectors are, when you have the lights on, the projectors are dim.
Yeah.
When they're down, they're still dim.
I've been at two other I've presented in Springfield and Tulsa.
I'm
sorry. And the lighting is bright and the projector is bright. Just to kind of throw that out there.
So it's a check there's no, like it's on my plate. When I did this,
Are you guys able to work with this?
I think this is good.
All right, let's roll.
If I wanted to introduce myself, I have to get, I guess, really close to this microphone.
There's no way to
Hearing
adjust
that
those projectors.
very loud voice. I don't think I actually even need the microphone. My name is Kate Bailey. I've had the absolute great honor to work with Ricky Vick, and our team is very diverse. It is a team full of people from all ethnicities. It is a team that's full of people from all age groups. We are very passionate at what else to bring something to this world that has never really been quite put in place. And I can tell you that I'm not used to speaking in front of people all the time, so excuse me for my nervousness, but I wanted to say a little bit about kind of our passion statement. And I call it a passion statement because this has driven us to many cities. We have done a lot of research. We've worked with some phenomenal companies throughout the United States, brought this to the forefront of a lot of marketing companies, one in particular called Mobilosity in Manhattan. And everywhere we take this, it has just been an explosive response. And what else? Our relations, we believe that our relationships define our lives and our legacy. We all want to leave a legacy. We as a team plan on leaving a legacy. We believe that passion comes from being part of something bigger than ourselves. When we met, we were all different types of people. We believe different things. We don't believe the same things. We respect each other's ability to differ in different subjects. But we had one thing in common, and that was passion. Passion for what we believe in, and that is what else. We believe that the greatest triumphs are achieved when we embrace something unfamiliar, and that we can change the status quo. And I think that's something that's part of our legacy and what we want to do with what else, is we want to change the status quo. We want to bring something that's unfamiliar to the familiar. And I can tell you personally that I've worked with What Else and our team for over 2 years now. And we've done nothing but just grow as a team. We've done nothing but continue to do research and development. And this is a humongous platform. So saying that, I'd like to introduce, of course, our CEO, Ricky Vick.
Yeah. So I won't use the mic. I'm loud, and microphones kind of get in the way. So can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Quick little tidbit. Everybody asked me about my cards, so I will explain that. This isn't part of my presentation, but just so you know, the core value of our business is transparency. So I figured no better way to illustrate that than have transparent business cards. And so that's kind of where that was created. But say more. Who are we? My name is Ricky Vick II, and I'm CEO, co-founder of What Else. I represent a small group of individuals who have bought to a concept and product that is transparent, mobile, and globally universal. Now, what might that be, you ask? We've created a time machine. Seriously. No, not joking. Yes, I have had my coffee this morning, but we've created a time machine. We've developed a product that takes all the beauty of the past and place it in the future, and we want to give it to you. So how did we get here? A few years ago, I was out of college at Fresno Pacific University in Fresno, California, and I was listening to the radio One of my favorite radio personalities, Stephen A. Smith, was on, and they were having a heated basketball debate. I, being the basketball genius that I claim to be, wanted to add my own 2 cents. So I called the radio probably about 10 times. Nothing, flat. So I get home, still pretty irritated about that, sit down at my computer, and I find an article referencing the same debate that they were just having on the radio. So I scroll to the bottom, find the comment section, warm my fingers up for my own little personal Stuart Scott style retort, and then it dawned on me. This had to change. In what way could I disrupt a system as germane and consistent as comments and turn it on its head in not only a way that's social, but also beneficial to society? And it was simple. Video. What else is one of a kind? It is still to this day the only online mobile video commenting platform out there. Think Discus with way less words. We will allow our users, hopefully each of you one day, to go online and give your personal 2 cents in whatever way you feel. Find anything you want to talk about. Facebook posts, blogs, shared videos, news postings, articles, Let It Go covers on YouTube, Hack X. Anything you want, you can now talk about. By creating a platform that encourages communication, we'll be able to leverage global interactions in ways not previously accessed. Creating new avenues for major players like Facebook, Twitter, Google, and even our future rival Discus to engage their current user base and connect organically. Facebook alone has in excess of 4 billion unique likes and comments per day. So our target market's already in place. This is a sample screen of our prototype that we created. This was actually at 1 million cups Tulsa, so I thought I'd add that in there so you guys could see. This is a sample of a prototype screen of what it would actually look like when somebody's prepping a video comment to send in. So what problem are we solving? The fact that more people prefer text messaging to face-to-face communication. The fact that if you go on Facebook and you open a shared pic and video, you have to scroll through pages on pages of paragraph-long comments. But fixing that problem is only our solution for the casual consumer side. Imagine being in a referral-based business like a mechanic shop. All mechanic shops generally operate under the same premise. Broke car, fix it. But now imagine a way to quickly access these mechanics and the mechanics, their customers. Picture this. The mechanic's individual business what else page linking to online posts about having a clicking sound in your engine. You have that same clicking sound in your engine. Excuse me. So you choose to send a short video comment on that said mechanic's link. Not only do the mechanics now have a new way to identify the potential car problem visually and phonically in a unique way, positive reviews and referrals can now be sent to the mechanic shop based on your experience. Business to consumer wins games. Business to business wins championships. For whatever purpose, what else can streamline authentic information? I know for me in particular, college football season is coming up, and there's a certain group of fans that I want to give my opinion to. Soon you'll be able to. So how can you help? First and most importantly, and seriously, be my friend. I left after high school to go chase my college basketball dream. So I was in California, and by being in school out of state, I missed out on some of the connections that a lot of people were able to make by being at local universities. I've been home, like Caitlin said, for 2 years now, and I've still been working that uphill climb and trying to move into some of these small business entrepreneur groups. Luckily, it's going well. My cell number's on my card. It's my personal cell. It never goes further than about 15 feet from me. And my email list, too. I try to respond to those within 30 minutes. My dad says it's a good habit. I want to continue to create with other individuals who don't limit themselves to the realm of realistic expectations. Allow yourself to open your minds to the next wave of mobile technology. Take a second to think that Facebook, Vine, Instagram, Twitter, Tango, Snapchat's My Story, etc. have all been able to stay relevant in the mobile space because of one thing: video. We're choosing to beat all of them to the punch. So my last question to you: what else is possible? My quote in my email signature line is from Michael Jordan. It says, "Doubts, like fears, are often just illusions." We're choosing not to put a potential in the ceiling of our business. Though we have had some hardships, the optimistic investor who goes right around the time he was supposed to call back for his first round, We've also experienced some success. In the short term, visit our Facebook. It's on the card at What Else app. I try to keep it updated with little quotes and information as we're building our product behind the scenes. Also, you can find me on social media. It's real easy. Rick Vic Dos. RickVicDos. I would love to speak to, after I get a chance to answer some of your questions after this, I would love to speak with as many of you firsthand as possible. One of the biggest things that I had in Fresno was I had a mentor. She's the person that I talked to last night at midnight preparing for this, my comm advisor. I studied comm. I'm looking to find myself a mentor in the business space. I'm trying to build something literally from the back of my head to your hands. And hopefully I can do that. And the last thing I want to do is I want to be able to recognize one of my team members who was able to make it. This is Caitlin Bailey. She gave me the introduction. She drove all the way up here from Waxahachie, Texas, where she lives. I call her the mother of What Else for a few different reasons. Not only does she give us that motherly kind of comfort whenever I'm stressing out and pulling out the hair I don't have, but she was also the first and original investor of What Else. She sat across my desk when I was still working at State Farm before I quit to be a millennial, and she believed in the project that we had. And because of her belief, we now have the opportunity to continue to create something. Thank you for our opportunity to present to you guys. This is my second time doing 1 Million Cups. My last little tidbit, if anybody have any programmer friends around here, New York's getting a little expensive. I would love to meet a co-founder that's in the programming space. Thank you.
How, whenever you do the video comment, is there like a restriction on the time limit of it, or can you just go?
Okay, great question. And that's actually a key aspect of What Else. So if any of you guys use Vine, 6 seconds. If anybody uses Snapchat, 10 seconds. If anybody uses Instagram, 15 seconds. So we're trying to create our own space at 20 seconds. 20 seconds being because we all know that data is really expensive. Snapchat has a unique feature that it kind of allows them to recycle out the amount of information that's saved. So we're kind of piggybacking off that a little bit. Hopefully no one's recording that, so they don't sue me later. But 20 seconds at a time is what we're doing. I feel like you can give a concise response to something, be able to really articulate your opinion, and still, kind of give your own 2 cents in 20 seconds or less.
How do you plan to generate revenue?
Well, on the business to consumer side, obviously everybody keeps hearing it, but advertising and pay-per-click is the type of stuff that gets you, but that's a lot smaller. I kind of touched on the business to business aspect, and there's a whole another a plethora of information that I have in regards to how we plan on building our business to business aspect of this. And somebody mentioned I2E earlier. I actually got that from I2E. I went there to go join one of their programs they actually had gotten invited to before the director moved away. And they told me if we really wanted to be able to scale this, our business to business side had to be twice as strong as business to consumer. So focusing on referral-based businesses, focusing on people that generate feedback for their revenue, like A-list bloggers, websites that need feedback to be able to drive traffic to them. Those are going to be some of our main focus. And then sponsorships for some of the categories that we're having, because if we're able to scale upward, for example, ESPN.com would benefit from sponsoring our sports section because they would be able to get more postings sent into the site and they would have a little bit more preference. Let me get him first because he asked me not to you.
Well, I guess I have 2 questions. First, where are you guys at in your development cycle? And second, in business to business, how do you make money there? Are you going to actually charge the businesses? I mean, I don't need a detail, but are you going to charge the businesses?
Yeah, so if we're able to, and the way that we want to do it is all backing, because we don't want businesses to feel like that they're having to use us. We want them to feel like that they're benefiting from us. So if they're able to generate business directly from What Else, which we'll be able to find just because the referrals and comments will be sent through our platform, so it's kind of hard to say that they didn't get it through What Else, then we'll be able to have a commission on that. But each business that we partner with will have agreements set forth in place so they know exactly what the commission percentage will be for What Else. And that was kind of something that we created so we can go get in and do some groundwork now and say, hey, Mr. Mechanic A and Mr. Mechanic B, would you like to be a part of this that we're creating to be able to generate some business for you? And I forgot the first part.
Where are you at in your development?
In our development, so like she spoke of, Mobilosity was the company that we first started with to develop it. And I said they got a little bit expensive. So what I did was I stopped Mobilosity right before the phase where we were going to build our prototype because of the price tag on it. And I said I quit my job and I started working to fund What Else on my own. I'll talk about that at the end when we ask what can 1 Million Cups do for you. But I've been doing my own thing to be able to work for myself to put all of the money that I make outside of rent, bills, and food into What Else for the past 3.5 months.
But during that process, during this whole transition, we have still been working with people who can build this out. Technology-wise, building this out, iOS, Windows, hybrid format. So one company in particular, two companies that were, at that phase where that's where we need the funding. So we have not just stopped right here. We have been working forward and working in the technology aspect of it.
Just leaving fundraising as the priority.
Yeah.
I felt like we spent a good long amount of time building all the foundational work behind that, so that whenever we were able to build out completely, we didn't have any more T's to cross or I's to dot. We just had to get somebody that's real savvy with the programming language. I'm trying to learn. I saw that little class up there. I'm going to do the programming class because I really want someone to teach me, and that's $300 for you.
Well, it kind of answered my question. I'd love to talk with you afterwards. And you have a dev team that could help you here that's local in Oklahoma City. But my second part of my question was, obviously video takes a lot of content. I was going to say, who are you hosting with, and how is that scaling? Or how do you plan to scale that? Because it's going to take a lot of space.
For the first year, we're going to use AWS because it's free for the first year, and since we haven't launched anything, we can use their service. And then, just depending on how we scale, it's going to dictate who we use and what the cost and everything. Right now, since we're kind of pre-concept and pre-revenue, we can't really assume on that because we don't have our users yet because we're still building out our product. But once we get there, we definitely have some people there in our house that we're going to reach out to try to save as much money as we possibly can.
Second part of my question: what kind of market research have you done as far as like figuring out the cost behind that? Is when you go to investors, how do you know those numbers and how much that's going to cost?
I personally, as far as all the tech, I have a guy that handles all the tech specs just because he speaks the language a little bit more fluently than I do.
Okay.
But he's an email away. Any specific question that I have about, that's how I found the whole AWS thing. That's not a Ricky language. That's something that he gave me. But yeah, he kind of keeps me up to date on that. So if someone does ask me, if someone has a question, I can just connect a three-way phone call in and keep everything moving.
How does What Else compare to Twitter's new app Periscope?
Periscope is really, it's funny, in an event that I did, there was a comedian that was using it everywhere, and it was the first time that I learned it, but I feel like it's more live feed type things, like you're giving people what you're doing, whereas What Else, you're giving your opinion as to what's happening. There's going to be some type of content out there that you have to respond to because this is a commenting space. So anywhere you think where you may be able to leave a comment is where What Else kind of jumps in. It's a really niche market, which is why we like it. Because it's in a small space with a ton of users, no one's doing what we're proposing to be able to do. And that's why we really are trying to push it.
He's on Periscope right now, and there's very little interaction. It's hard to interact with it.
And then,
have you looked into aggregating videos from already existing apps? Like if you're taking videos that people are shooting in Vine and incorporating them from Instagram into one comment feed rather than creating your own platform where someone's going to have to download an app and maybe it can be an add-on to What Else that you're bringing in all the different video spaces instead of creating your own.
kind of in relation to that, we are building a browser feature inside the app. So as we start off, we can be a third party for some of those bigger sites because somebody may want to leave What Else for a Vine. And you have 20 seconds to do that without having to do anything necessarily with Vine because you can go to vine.com/whatever and be able to plug it in to what we're doing. As we scale, my plan is to hopefully be able to be fully integrated with all of those major sites. I'm a big dreamer, so why not? I think we have uses that would be beneficial to Discus, like I said, and I feel like those are going to be our biggest competitor at some point. Same for Twitter, Facebook, Google+, really anywhere that uses comments right now because none of them can use video. And I know that they're all really trying to streamline that communication because I don't read paragraph-long comments. If it's longer than a paragraph, I'm ignoring it.
And we did a grid, sorry to interrupt you, but we also each on our team, we assigned ourselves an assignment several times where each of us needed to go out into the public and talk about video commenting. And I mean, I went down to El Central where my daughter goes to school and spent 3 hours doing that, talking to students and universities and things like that, and the response was humongous. People really responded to this. And that was one of the assignments that we did as a team, and it was really huge. It was really exciting to just, aside from the velocity research and development phase and business parts that we've developed with them. But our own assignments were an intricate part of what we were doing because we needed to develop ourselves and to really develop our team and find out what it was that really, when you're on the street doing this, it really made it real. And we needed that and did that, and it was a huge response for everybody.
Yeah, two questions actually. You're getting a lot of comparisons like Periscope and Snapchat, but your video, whenever you make a video comment, it doesn't disappear, right?
Well, actually, that's from the data standpoint. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier. We want them to, and we're going to limit them to a certain specific amount of time unless you block that comment. Because we want people interacting with each other. I know that if I'm having a conversation with you, a minute from now you can't record it and keep it, but you can hear what I said. So we're going to leave a certain amount of time for people to be able to respond to each other unless they want to lock those specific comments in. So then we can kind of recycle that information. So as we start, we're not killing ourselves with data storage.
All right, I can give them afterwards because we're running out of time here. So what can 1 million cups as a community do for you?
And well, this one was for when you asked that question. I tried to bring it back up there. But like I said, I've been working on kind of doing event planning and event promotion to make money for what else. I studied comm, like I said, in college, so I had a little bit of a marketing background going in. I don't know if any of you watched KOCO News 5 yesterday. My dad was on there. I was behind the camera, so you didn't see me. But the H&H market that they have downtown, we decided that H&H has way, way too long lines, and they weren't allowing enough Oklahoma-based small businesses to come join in on their event. So my dad, being the innovator that he likes to be, decided to start his own version, which is kind of an extension, a block over. And I also did all the work as far as helping him organize and plan the event. So if you guys don't have anything to do, on the last Friday of this month, we will be out on 8th and Harvey serving food, and the money that I made from that I will be putting directly into what else? I'll probably out there be selling water, soda, and Gatorade. That's normally what I do at his event. So if you see me, come say hi, shake my hand, send me an email. And then lastly, like I said, I'm actively searching for a business mentor in Oklahoma City. My college advisor is in Fresno, and she's always available to me, but more for public speaking and presentation type things. I'm really trying to learn the ins and outs of building something from the back of my head to your hand, which is literally what we've been able to do, and hopefully we'll still continue to be able to do. One last thing that I have for you guys, and you can go back and done. I printed these earlier, but for some reason our printer didn't give us the font that was on here. This is our one-pager. On the back of it's a cool little inverted what else that we did. And then on the front is some information that you guys can take if you would like. My contact information is also in the corner. If that comes down, I plan to do this before, but the print got messed up.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Feel free to sit around and mingle a little bit. Take some pictures with our sign. #1MC, #1MC OKC. And check us out on Facebook and Twitter. See you guys next week. Thank you.
Is that it? It's funny. What's the name of your business?